Lost in the Woods with Coy here. We're going to get lost in the Word again. Okay, I hope everybody out there is doing well this evening. We're on Genesis chapter 5. I'm reading from the King James Version. Um, so we'll go ahead and get started and see what we can get involved in here. Okay, this is the Genesis chapter 5, Adam's descendants. Okay. This is the book of the generation of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him, male and female. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image, and called his name Seth. I'm going to stop right there for a minute. Now, this is supposed to be the generation or the descendants of Adam. And it doesn't mention Cain and Abel. I wonder why that is. Because they were his first sons, Cain and Abel. But when it's not mentioned here, I don't understand why it's not mentioned here. It mentions Seth, which was after Cain and Abel, and that's just wild. I don't understand why I don't mention that here. If anybody knows, leave a comment and let me know why it doesn't mention Cain and Abel here. It just mentions Seth. But anyway, interesting, right? All right. Let's see. Called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years. 800 years. That's a big time difference from what was 130 to 800 years. And he begot sons and daughters after that. So it went after Seth, it went almost 800 years. Well, was it 700? What's it, 765 or whatever it is? That's a long time in between it. He had, which it doesn't say how old he was. I don't believe. I don't recall that they were when that he was when he had Cain and Abel. When Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Let's go back and see if we can see if it says. And Adam knew Eve and his wife. This is in Genesis 4, verse 1. And Adam knew knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in a process of time it came to pass. Okay, doesn't say how old they were when they had Cain and Abel. But it's interesting that in chapter 5, Adam's descendants, it doesn't mention them. So, and when he says, after his image, and called his name Seth, and the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years. Did I read that right? Am I see? After it says, and Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness. So he's 130 years old after his marriage, after his image, and called his name Seth. In the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. That's a big gap right there. And you'll find it's a trend that as we read on that they'll have a son or a daughter or whatever, and then they'll go 700 years before they have more children. I wonder why that was. Why there's such a wide gap. That's a lot. And all the days of Adam lived were 930 years, and he died, which is a long time. Can you imagine living 930 years? Wow. Just imagine the things that you would see and the knowledge that you would have living that long. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Just to be around and see the changes and see how things, progress. That'd be pretty cool. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. So here we go. You'll see this trend here. So, okay, he was 105 and begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begot Enos 807 years. There we go. 800. So, big gap. 807 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years. But it doesn't elaborate how many sons and daughters that they had. It could have been a lot. We don't know. So, and all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years and begat sons and daughters. See, it seems like at the 800-year mark, then they start having a bunch of kids. They'll have one or, have one or two. Here's one, right? And we got, they'll have a kid, and then there's nobody for a long period of time, and bam, 700 something years goes by, and they have a bunch more. That's wild. And they only live like 130, 140, 50 years after that, and then they're dead. I would think you would have them in that long span of time, which you could have more time with your kids than have it at the end, but I don't know. Okay, Canaan. Okay, Enos lived after he begot Canaan 815 years and begot sons and daughters, and all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel. Mahalalel. And Canaan lived after he begot Mahalalel 840 years and begot sons. So here we go. See, that's a pattern at 800-year mark. They'll have one child, at the 100 and something year mark, and then, to get around 800 years old, they have a bunch of more. That's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just, it just seems like, wow. So, 40 years and begot sons. And so, yeah, he when he turned, and Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahulali, and Cain lived after he begot Mahulali 840 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalali, I guess that's how you pronounce it, Mahalali, lived 65 years and begat Jared. And Mahulali lived after he begot Jared 800 and there we go again, 830 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahulali were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years and begot sons and daughters. So here's that pattern. They have one child, a son, and then when they got 800 years old plus, they have a bunch more. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters. Now this was different. He was 300 years old. 300 years old and begot sons and daughters. So he broke that pattern, huh? And all the days of Enoch were 365 years, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. So he didn't die. God took him. He went to be with God straight from here, and God took him, and he didn't die. And Methuselah lived in 108 years, 187 years, and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 782 years and begot sons. Now we're back to the 800 year mark. And he begot sons and daughters, and all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 102 years and begot a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begot Noah 595 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he 770 years. No, 770 years. So it's 777 years. 777 years. 777. And he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth? Yeah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth. Guess I'm pronouncing that right. Woo. So that's chapter 5, guys. But it's it's wild how they don't. It doesn't mention Cain and Abel here, and I wonder why that was. I'm not for sure. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later on down the road why that wasn't mentioned here. But it's interesting, isn't it? Let's see. See if I can find anything on it. I don't know. And the next chapter 6, is going to get interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder why it doesn't mention Cain and Abel there. But anyway, this is a short one. Next one will be chapter 6. And let's read the first verse of it. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they choose or chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So I guess that stopped that's when it stopped, you know, of the 900 year, living 900 years. And I wonder why God put a stop to that. And where is it that God stopped coming down on the earth and visiting man, speaking to man, and visiting man here on earth? Because he did in chapter 4 when he, Cain and Abel, he was still coming down on the earth talking, you know, to Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. But I don't know when that stopped. Maybe it stopped here when he cut, you know, longevity down to 120 years. I don't know. Let's see. Well, maybe we'll just go ahead and read chapter 6. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So his spirit shall not always strive with man. So I wonder if that means his spirit was with them when they were living to 900 years. God, preserved them and kept them. And now he's saying, I'm cutting that back, and my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Oh, and is that when he stopped coming down on the earth and, visiting man and, communion or having, conversations with man here on earth? I don't know. Because he had, God would come down and talk and walk with him. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. Hmm. And they were, and okay, were those angels, I guess, watchers? Let's see, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created on the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation. And Noah walked with God. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled. So the earth also was corrupt before God. Hmm. So I guess I wonder what that means. The earth was, the earth also was corrupt before God. So what did man do? Destroy the earth too, or corrupt the earth, or what? Phew. And the earth was filled with violence. There you go. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. So he's talking about the earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was violence. Yeah, the whole earth was just corrupt. Everybody, I guess, was evil and corrupt, and almost kind of like it's almost getting nowadays, huh? And the earth was filled with violence. There's a lot of violence in the earth now. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. That's crazy, ain't it? Okay. The ark. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me. For the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee I will establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and of every living thing of all flesh, two of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. Two of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee. And it shall be for food for thee and for them. Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him, so did he. All right, guys. So we knocked out 2 chapters there. Anybody's got any comments or anything, leave a comment. So I guess I'll end it right there. Remember to like, share, hit, and subscribe. Like I said, if you have any comments, leave it, and I'll read them and answer them. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time, and it will be chapter 7. And everybody have a good evening.